Hi, my name is Dan Allen. I work with Citrix Consulting, and this video is a follow-up to a blog post that I recently did on the new Google Earth optimization pack. So what I'm going to do now is give you a demonstration of Google Earth with the optimization pack enabled and running in DirectX mode versus Google Earth without the optimization pack running in OpenGL rendering. For this demo, I have two Windows 7 virtual machines. Each one are configured identically and running on identical pieces of hardware. So for all intents and purposes, all of the resources and everything is 100% identical within this test, with the exception of the Google Earth optimization DLL being implemented on the VM that you're seeing on the left-hand side of the screen. So with that, I'm going to first start by opening up Google Earth on the right-hand side. You'll notice it's going to ask me if I want to enable DirectX mode, because I actually do have the Google Earth optimization pack loaded in both these VMs since they're coming from the same provisioning server image. But I'm just going to say no so that the pack is disabled, which will cause Google Earth to open up and render in OpenGL mode. And now on the left-hand side from this image, I'm going to run Google Earth, which you'll see is enabled for DirectX mode. One thing you'll notice right away with the one on the left-hand side, you'll see the additional shading and effects that are implemented due to the fact that we have DirectX enabled. Now for the demo, I'm going to use a pre-recorded tour that I downloaded from the Google Earth website. It's a tour of Amsterdam. So I'll just go ahead and open that up on the OpenGL one. And I'll open up that same tour on the DirectX version. I'm going to view the sidebars here so I can actually start the tour. And then I'll pause it so that I can try to get them both started and running at the exact same time. Okay, so they're both running from a clock perspective in sync with each other. And one other little trick with Google Earth, if you do a Control-Shift-A, it'll bring up and show you the frame rate, which you'll see here on the left-hand side running at about 7 frames per second. And on the right-hand side, I'll do the Control-Shift-A so that we can see what the frame rates are on that one as well. One thing you'll notice right away is the one on the left-hand side is definitely running much smoother than the one on the right-hand side. And the frame rates are, with the DirectX version on the left, running at somewhere between 5 and 7 frames per second, whereas the virtual machine on the right is only running at about 2.5 frames per second. So what you'll notice is that the DirectX definitely gives you smoother motion, much faster rendering of the buildings in 3D. Now, I am just playing a pre-recorded tour, but I can also say this from a user experience perspective. If you're to stop the tour and just try to scroll around within Google Earth, manipulate a map, move it up and down, spin the globe, do any sorts of interactive activities like that with the DirectX DLL enabled, it is night and day difference from a user experience perspective versus trying to run Google Earth just in plain OpenGL mode. As far as connectivity into these virtual machines from a bandwidth perspective, I am running on a LAN, so these machines are LAN connected, and the laptop that I have is plugged into a gigabit switch. I do have a copy of Bandwidth Meter here running, So you can just get an idea of what kind of bandwidth is being consumed. So if I just start that up, you'll see from an ICA perspective, I'm pulling in about 10 megabits per second of bandwidth. And that is just on one session. I have my filter just to look at the VM doing the DirectX rendering. So all in all, from an ICA perspective, the bandwidth won't differ too much between OpenGL versus DirectX. DirectX will push a slightly higher amount of bandwidth, but not significantly. From a resource perspective, if I open up Task Manager, you'll also notice that I do have 2 virtual CPUs given to both these VMs. Anytime you're going to be using Google Earth as an application within a virtual desktop, you definitely want to have at least 2 virtual CPUs. And for the Google Earth optimization pack, it's absolutely required. If you try and run it on one virtual CPU, you really won't get very good performance at all. So you can see that the DirectX version on the left is using up a little bit more memory and a little bit more CPU time versus the OpenGL rendering. But that use of extra memory and CPU resources is what is allowing us to have that better frame rate and that better user experience. Now what I can do is also show you the Zen server hosts that I have running here. I have 3 Zen server machines. They're all identical. They're just a single quad-core HP, actually a desktop workstation class machine with 8 gigs of RAM. The top Zen server is running all of my infrastructure, the PVS, SQL, Zen Desktop 5.5, domain controller, and a app-v/file server. And then I have 2 additional Zen servers also with identical hardware configurations. One of the virtual machines is running on one, and one of the virtual machines is running on the other. However, both of these virtual machines are coming from the exact same provisioning server. So they're identical images being streamed to identical hardware.